Let me ask you something a little personal, but in a friendly way. When was the last time you felt truly desired? Not just in a physical sense, but emotionally connected. Like someone looked at you with that spark in their eye, touched your hand gently, and made you feel like you were the only person in the world they wanted to be near. Because here's the truth, plain and simple. Just because we've hit 60, 70, or beyond, doesn't mean desire disappears. It doesn't mean passion gets replaced by crossword puzzles and early bedtimes. Sure, things change. Our bodies, our routines, our energy. But intimacy, real, soul-filling intimacy, that doesn't have an expiration date. The idea that sex is just for the young, that's one of the most damaging myths out there. And sadly, it's one too many people who buy into it without even realizing it. Maybe you felt it. That quiet voice whispering, "It's probably too late," or "I'm not sexy anymore," or worse, "No one's looking at me like that these days." Well, I'm here to gently but firmly tell you, don't believe that voice. Because the number one secret to amazing sex after 60 isn't about flexibility or stamina or some miracle supplement. It's this: emotional safety and self-confidence. That's it. That's the gold. And it's something we can all nurture, no matter what stage of life we're in. You see, the best intimacy, the kind that lingers, that makes you feel both grounded and electrified, starts long before you even touch each other. It begins with trust, vulnerability, and being seen and accepted exactly as you are. And at this stage in life, we have something truly powerful: perspective. We've let go of much of the performance pressure that plagued us in our younger years. We're not trying to impress someone new every weekend. We're not obsessed with looking flawless under dim lighting. We've lived, we've laughed, we've cried and rebuilt. And that history, it adds depth. It adds richness to intimacy that younger folks are still learning to reach. But I also know, it's not always easy to feel sexy when your body has changed. Maybe your joints are creaky in the mornings. Maybe your skin's not as firm as it used to be. Maybe you've had surgery, lost someone, or just feel invisible sometimes. Here's what no one tells you enough. You are not invisible. And sexiness, it's not about age or shape. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about comfort in your skin, owning your experience, and sharing that with someone else. Let me tell you a little story. Martha and Dan, both in their mid-60s, met in a gardening class of all places. They were widowed, a little hesitant about starting over, but they kept bumping into each other. One day Dan said, "Would you like to get coffee?" Fast forward a few months, and they're navigating intimacy again after years apart. Martha told me, "I was terrified. I hadn't been naked in front of anyone since before my hip replacement. I was worried about scars, about stretch marks, about everything." And Dan, bless him, just looked at her and said, "I love every single part of you. And if you're comfortable, I'd like to explore that with you." That moment of tenderness, that emotional safety, it opened the door for something deeper. They took things slow. They laughed. They lit candles. Sometimes it was passionate. Sometimes it was just soft and close and sweet. And every time, they grew more confident in each other's presence. That's the kind of intimacy we're talking about. Not rushed, not pressured, just real. If you're still here and this video is helping you, leave a quick comment below. I'd really like to know you're watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Let's keep going. I want to gently challenge this idea that intimacy should look a certain way, or that it's only worth having if it's like what we see in movies. Intimacy after 60 is about presence, not performance. It's about the slow build, the shared coffee in the morning, the playful squeeze of a hand when no one's looking, the moment you catch each other's eyes across the room and just know. And it doesn't even have to start in the bedroom. In fact, it shouldn't. It starts with the way you talk to each other, the way you make space for laughter, for stories, for stillness, a surprise kiss on the cheek, a lingering hug, holding hands during a walk, not because it's romantic, but because you just want to feel that connection. And here's another little truth. Your partner, if you have one, is likely struggling with the same worries you are. They might be wondering if you still find them attractive. They might be nervous too. And when you create a space where both of you can speak honestly and listen with compassion, that's where the magic starts. Because when you feel emotionally safe with someone, your body relaxes, your heart opens, and intimacy becomes not just easier, but better. And for those who are single, or widowed, or divorced, this message is just as much for you. Don't write off the possibility of new intimacy. It may look different now, and yes, it might take a little courage to get started, but you are just as worthy of connection as anyone else. Sometimes, intimacy starts with learning to reconnect with yourself first. A soft bath, a favorite song, dancing alone in the kitchen, giving yourself permission to feel good in your own skin again. So no matter where you are, whether you've been married for 40 years, or just met someone new, or are figuring things out on your own, know this: it's not too late. You haven't missed your chance. The door isn't closed. Because great sex after 60 isn't about being 25 again. It's about embracing who you are now, fully, gently, boldly. And in part 2, we'll keep this conversation going right where we left off. To pick up where we left off, I want you to imagine something simple, something you may not have thought of in a while. You're sitting on the couch, your partner walks by and casually rests their hand on your shoulder or brushes your arm as they pass. It's not a grand gesture. It's not a full-on embrace. But it's enough to make you feel seen. And maybe in that moment, something stirs. Comfort, connection, a little spark that surprises you. Those little moments? That's where real intimacy begins. So many people assume sex after 60 has to be planned or slow or a little bit clinical. But that's only true if you let it be. Because when you start bringing small, everyday affection back into your routine, it changes everything. I'm talking about non-sexual touch that still builds closeness. A hand on the small of the back, brushing someone's hair behind their ear, sitting close enough to feel each other's warmth. It might not seem like much at first, but you'd be amazed at how powerful touch becomes when you're not racing toward anything, when the goal is just to enjoy each other, to be together in the same space. I've talked with couples who've rediscovered their spark after years of feeling like roommates. And you know what the common thread was? They started paying attention again, not in big, dramatic ways, but in those soft, daily connections. Pat and Gloria, married 38 years, told me their turning point wasn't a fancy anniversary getaway. It was one night in the kitchen, dancing barefoot to a song they hadn't heard in decades. They laughed. They moved slowly. They held each other without expectation. And that moment brought them back to each other in a way no conversation ever could. Gloria said, "I'd forgotten how much I liked just being near him. We weren't trying to fix anything. We just remembered who we are when we're together. That's it. That's the spark. And it's always available to you, even if it's been a while." And let's talk for a moment about giving yourself permission to feel good again. It sounds simple, but it's something a lot of folks struggle with, especially after loss or illness, or even just after years of routine and responsibility. Sometimes we carry guilt or shame, or a kind of quiet fear that pleasure is no longer for us, that it's selfish, that it's silly at our age. But let me be clear, pleasure is not silly. It's human, and joy, intimate, playful, physical joy, is something we never age out of. You don't need to look like you did at 30 to be desirable. You just need to believe that your body still matters, that your needs still matter. And that's not vanity. It's self-love. It's honoring the body that's carried you this far. If you're still here and this video is helping you, leave a quick comment below. I'd really like to know you're watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Let's keep going. Now, let's talk about something else that makes intimacy better after 60, communication. And no, I don't mean long, awkward conversations with charts and checklists. I mean the everyday kind, asking, "What feels good for you lately?" Saying, "I miss being close," or even, "Can we try something different tonight?" That kind of honesty builds the foundation for connection. You might feel shy at first. That's okay. It's actually kind of sweet to be shy sometimes. It means you care. But the more you open up, the easier it gets. And if you've never talked openly about what you want or need in the bedroom before, now is a great time to start. Because with age comes a beautiful freedom. You've earned the right to ask for what you want, to take your time, to laugh if something goes a little sideways, to say, "Let's try that again," without any embarrassment. One couple in their 70s told me they actually schedule intimacy, not because it's boring or forced, but because it gives them something to look forward to. "It's our date night," they said. "We light candles, play old records, and just take our time." And honestly, that's romantic. That's intentional. That's sexy. Another thing to keep in mind, your definition of intimacy might change over time, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually one of the most freeing parts of getting older. Maybe what you need right now is more touch, more closeness, more cuddling. Maybe you're exploring different ways to connect that you never had the courage to before. Maybe intimacy looks like talking about fantasies over morning coffee, or holding hands while watching your favorite show. It doesn't have to fit into some mold or look like it did 20 years ago. The best part? No one's grading you. This isn't about performance, it's about presence. And if physical challenges come up, things like erectile dysfunction, vaginal dryness, discomfort, that's normal. It happens. And it doesn't mean the end of intimacy. It just means it's time to get creative, slow down, and talk about it. There are plenty of ways to stay connected and feel pleasure, ways that don't rely on a single definition of what sex is supposed to be. For some, it means using new tools, lubricants, massage oils, pillows to support different positions. For others, it's about changing the pace, the setting, or the time of day when you feel your best. But all of it, starts with accepting where you are now and not comparing it to the past. Because the past was lovely, yes, but now has the potential to be something new, and maybe even better. And hey, don't forget about humor. Laughing together, especially in intimate moments, is one of the best things you can do for your connection. Maybe something awkward happens. Maybe a hip pops. Maybe the dog jumps on the bed at exactly the wrong time. Just laugh, smile, keep going. That laughter builds intimacy just as much as the rest. So, wherever you are right now, whether you're in a long-term relationship, newly partnered, or rediscovering your own sensuality, it's never too late to enjoy connection, to explore, to express yourself. Because the truth is, intimacy after 60 isn't about turning back time. It's about owning your time, right here, right now, and choosing joy. We will bring it all together in the next part. You'll love where this conversation goes. Let's take a deep breath together for a moment. You've made it through part 1 and part 2, and if you're still here, it tells me something really important. You care about connection. You're curious. And maybe, just maybe, you're feeling something stir inside you that you haven't felt in a while. Hope. Because what we've been talking about, the emotional safety, the confidence, the small touches, the honest conversations, it's not just theory. It's the groundwork for something real, something fulfilling, something alive that still exists for you, no matter your age or what season of life you're in. And now, let's talk about the part that often gets overlooked, especially later in life: playfulness. So often, when people talk about intimacy after 60, they make it sound serious, clinical, or like a chore you have to plan around medications and physical limitations. And sure, those are factors. But let's not forget how fun, spontaneous, and lighthearted intimacy can be. Remember what it felt like to flirt, to tease a little, to make each other blush. You don't outgrow that. You don't lose the right to feel giddy just because you've got a few more candles on your birthday cake. In fact, that kind of lightness, the giggles, the stolen glances, the "should we sneak upstairs" energy, is so important. It keeps things fresh. It keeps things human. I once heard a woman in her early 70s say, "Sex isn't about trying to look young. It's about feeling alive." And I think about that all the time. Because that's the real goal, isn't it? To feel alive. And to feel that way, we have to let go of shame, of comparison, of all those old scripts in our heads about what sex is supposed to look like. You know the ones: "I should be thinner," or "they won't find me attractive anymore," or "this is silly at my age." Let them go. Nothing is silly about wanting to feel loved, touched, and desired. There is nothing silly about laughing in bed or fumbling your way through something new together. In fact, the most powerful, satisfying moments are often the most imperfect ones. If you're still here and this video is helping you, leave a quick comment below. I'd really like to know you're watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Let's keep going. So let's talk about one last thing, something truly transformational: redefining intimacy on your own terms. You get to decide what intimacy looks like for you now, not the media, not the past. Not some outdated idea from a magazine article in the 1980s. You. For some, that means a deep, sensual, physical connection with a partner. For others, it may be emotional closeness, shared silence, or touching toes under a blanket while watching the news. Some may find intimacy in spiritual closeness, or in learning something new together, a cooking class, a dance lesson, or even sitting side by side while you both read your books. The important thing is that it feels real to you, that it honors your life, your experiences, and where your body and heart are right now, not where they used to be. And maybe you're on your own. That's okay too, because intimacy isn't just something that happens between two people. It starts with you, with how you treat yourself, how you speak to yourself, Whether you let yourself feel pleasure or joy, or just a soft sense of peace when you crawl under clean sheets and stretch out your legs at the end of the day. Maybe it starts with a walk in nature, a hand over your heart in gratitude, lighting a candle, and soaking in the tub without rushing. That's not indulgence. That's self-connection, and it's the foundation for everything else. Because once you feel good in your own presence, you become more open to receiving love from others. You begin to move with a different kind of confidence. You smile more easily. You let others in. And if you do find yourself with a partner again, or already have one, you'll be able to show up more fully, without fear, because you're not seeking validation. You're inviting connection. That's what makes intimacy after 60 so beautiful. It becomes less about proving something and more about sharing something, less about urgency and more about depth. So here's what I want to leave you with. You are not past your prime. You are in a new prime, one that is wiser, deeper, and more capable of love than ever before. One where your heart and body may carry some scars, but they also carry stories. Stories of resilience, tenderness, and transformation. And those stories deserve to be touched, honored, and held by someone who sees the full you. Whether that's a partner or you, holding space for yourself. You are allowed to feel pleasure. You are allowed to be touched, seen, and adored. You are allowed to explore what intimacy means for you, again and again, as many times as you want. And I promise there is no age limit on feeling desired or on desiring yourself. So if you're ready to step into this new season of your life with softness, with boldness, and maybe even with a little spark in your eye, you're not alone. Thousands of people your age are asking the same questions, having the same rediscoveries, and feeling the same hope. You are not behind. You're right on time. Thanks for watching today's video. Please comment below with one takeaway and how you'll apply it in your own life. We really do read and appreciate every message. If you found this content useful, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. Your support helps us keep showing up for you. See you next time, my friend.